Welcome on in, everybody, to the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. This is our Prelim Final 2024 edition. We're doing a Prelim Final preview of the Sydney Swans v Port Adelaide. It'll be a short, sharp, informative video, so stick around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments below who's going to win and by how many points. As always, check out all the socials, check out all the content. We have 2 podcasts every week going live on the YouTube and Spotify channel. And with no further ado, let's jump into Prelim Final number 1, Sydney v Port Adelaide. First up, teams have been announced for the game as of recording about 10 minutes ago. So this is the teams as they've been announced. Sydney Swans have Robbie Fox coming in for the injured Callum Mills. So Taylor Adams got beaten out for that spot by Robbie Fox. Rampy playing his 250th game, and Isaac Heaney in the form of his career playing his 200th game. So massive occasion for them to be playing big milestone games in a prelim final. For Port Adelaide Football Club, we have Charlie Dixon and Ryan Burton coming in, going out a Todd Marshall and Will Lawrence. I don't know what the biggest matchups here will be. You'd imagine the Port Adelaide talls in the back line will probably be, you'd imagine shouldn't really match up too well against the Sydney forward line, being that the Sydney forward line is really dominated by smaller players. Interesting that, I don't know how long it'll be or if it will actually take effect, but Errol Goulden being named on a forward flank instead of the wing. Other interesting matchups here. The midfield battle will be huge. Horn Francis, Butters, Wines, and Rose for Port Adelaide up against the likes of Warner, Goulden, Isaac Heaney, Rowbottom. So big midfield battle. You'd think the Port Adelaide tall forward line might struggle. They're not playing the best, the talls, but their smalls have been getting it done. Mitch Georgiadis is probably the exception to that rule. He's been good as a tall. Willie Rioli was huge last week, so he'll be important in this one. But teams, I guess, pretty much as expected. Not too many surprises there, I don't think. These two teams have met once this year, and Port Adelaide absolutely dominated. You'll probably remember it was 112 points they ended up winning by after being like 70-0 in what is one of the craziest games of the year. There's been plenty of crazy, but that was, in my opinion, the craziest. They dominated pretty much every stat category, plus 35 inside 50s, plus 95 disposals, plus 10 clearances, plus 27 contested footy, plus 80 uncontested footy, marks plus almost 60, 22 goals, 16 played, 5-6. Just an absolute domination in all facets by Port Adelaide last time they met. They've also won the last 8 meetings between these two clubs, so probably Port Adelaide's biggest bunny right now is the Sydney Football Club. So it's interesting that they're going up in a prelim against each other. This will be their toughest one of those assignments, I think, at the SCG in a prelim against a Sydney team that has been playing the SCG really well this year. No surprise that the game was dominated by Port Adelaide players. Probably the best 5 or 6 players on the ground were all from Port Adelaide. Ollie Wines was huge. Houston was really good. Horn Francis, Charlie Dixon, maybe that's why he's coming back in here. He kicked 3 last time. Georgiadis kicked 4. Willem Drew was good. Sweet was good. Mead was good. Rioli, he kicked 4 as well, so they really just dominated from start to finish in that one. You've got to give them a slight chance, I think, based on that. As you can see on the screen, there's plenty of stats here. Some important ones. Both teams coming in 4 wins and a loss from their last 5. Obviously, Port Adelaide's loss was a real bad one in qualifying final against Geelong, where they lost by 80-odd points. They bounced back with a better result last week against Hawthorn, but this is going to be a decidedly more difficult task. Sydney, the highest scoring team offensively, and the better defence overall. Port Adelaide's offence the last couple of weeks has certainly dropped off, I think. I think they've got 54 and 70 the last 2 weeks, so well below their average. Their accuracy is the worst in the competition, so that'll be interesting to see how it matches up. Both teams are really good forward efficiency-wise. Port Adelaide's defensive efficiency is really good. Sydney's isn't terrible. It says 13th, but the AFL in spots about first down to like 14th is really close. It's just those bottom 4 teams. Defensive efficiency is horrible, which just blows the whole competition out, really. Inside 50 differential, Port Adelaide dominate territory a little bit more than Sydney, but not by a massive margin. Neither team really great at disposal efficiency, but it's not the most important stat in the world. Both teams very similar in clearance game, 4th and 6th ranked teams. Contested footy, both teams struggle in that area, minus 2.9 per game for Port Adelaide, minus 3.2 for Sydney. Uncontested footy, both teams very similar. So in terms of possession, tackles, and even intercept game, both teams very similar. And overall, in a lot of stats, a lot of ways that both teams play the game. Not too dissimilar, but you just probably predict that Sydney are the better of the two. Maybe that's why Sydney don't match up too great against them, is because they're so similar. But I will be not supporting. I don't support either of these two teams. I will be predicting that Sydney midfield will get it done. I think Isaac Heaney's set for 2 massive games, a prelim and then a grand final, to make up for 2022 and what happened at the end of that season for them. Let me know down in the comments who you think will win and the margin. I'm going Sydney by 21 points. That is my prediction. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Plenty of content every day. Brownlow prediction video coming live in a few days, so check that out. Thanks for watching. Catch us on the next one.